What's up, Grand Rising family? Okay, so we're gonna have a little discussion, a little talky talk about astrology and the angels. All right, so here's how it's going down right now. All right, so there was a Mars liberation that started about 2 to 3 days ago. So basically, Mars liberation was bringing in freedom and liberation to Mars. Why? Mars is bringing up a lot, especially in regards to conflict in our own journey, okay? And also, it's a very big point of liberation when we're dissolving tyranny from the planet, when we're really going through a lot of the light body upgrades that are occurring. I'm seeing this for myself, I'm seeing this for other people. The upgrades started at the beginning of this year. All of this was in relation to stargates opening up. So it was like, let's upgrade. And a part of this expansion is opening up the stargates and receiving what we need to receive, because we're definitely in like a really big acceleration window this year. Okay. Now here's what I want to say. Today, Mars and Chiron. So this morning I woke up with the spear of Archangel Michael coming back. Okay. The discussion here about the spear itself is, I see Michael holding a spear, throwing it, right? Like he's going to be throwing it like at a demiurge, or he's throwing this at the shadows, right? He's someone who is like, he's cleanup crew. Archangel Michael will always show up as that kind of cleanup crew energy. He's kind of like that monadic sweep coming through and clearing things out, right? This spear was being shown to me, and really a part of this example of what the upgrade, which means the natural and organic ascension, plus what it's like to no longer kind of loop the same stories, is in which the spear that was used as a weapon is actually a part of the column, right? The central column, the central channel that connects us back to source, the great central sun, our higher self, whatever vernacular or what this connection point. Remember, your vertical axis is a point of connection. It dials addresses. So the thing that's happening right now, especially with planetary liberation, is that we're at this point in time where anxieties can surface, because the concern is that we're being disconnected from our consciousness again. Here's why. There's been a lot of bleed through in which spirituality, consciousness, and wars worked together, and as a result continued to separate us from universal law. So like the original Yeshua teachings, right? And a lot of this, let's bring love, let's bring consciousness back, let's bring, this higher self connection back, is that through some of these situations where there were wars with consciousness, it surfaces that from within ourselves, which triggers a choice point for all of us in humanity, which is to come back to original creation, to not limit ourselves, to choose our freedom and liberation. It's aligned and palpable in the field to create the choice in which we maintain and sustain the connection to what we would refer to as the higher self. Now, this can be seen in different ways, whether you're doing soul, oversoul consciousness, monadic consciousness, higher self consciousness, stargate source, great central sun consciousness, right? All of it is one and the same, but we're just kind of using different vernacular because people see it in different ways, especially with where you're at in your own spiritual path. But here's what I want to share, okay, from the angelic perspective, because through these upgrades, my own higher seraphim is returning back because it's ready. It's ready as a guardian to show up, which is a higher form of Mars, okay? Is that there is a point in which Chiron reflects forgiveness of our angelic structure, especially energetic and light body. Here's why. It comes back to Archangel Metatron. So the thing within the guardians and within the planetary sphere and within Logos is when we ran into all the distortions through Metatron's cube, okay? Those were direct reflections of teachings of Saturn and Pluto, okay? So here's what I want to get at, guys, and this is kind of like a key code thing here, is that if we keep getting caught up in the teachings of what Saturn and Pluto represent and don't zoom all the way out and recognize that's the contrast we needed to see to learn, especially if there was a quote-unquote fallen collective running its experience, we recognize that those were two important teachers, because if everything was non-dualized from the beginning, we wouldn't have learned, right? So we can see that what's happened to us as archangels, as angelics, high angelics, as seraphim, as dragons, and beyond, right? In our own journey, there was a teaching in correction, right? And a lot of this was choice, right? Are we going to work with universal law? Are we going to work with love consciousness? Are we going to keep fueling a lot of the same systems? Back to where human civilization was propagating outcomes that were separating us from source, or we're creating more and more obstacles. We're looking at the planetary logos liberation level, okay? We needed Saturn and Pluto to learn. We needed to learn about the dark, the outer edges of our own space. We needed to learn from all of these experiences so we can gain back integrity, clarity, choose more love-based options. It's the same thing. Like, let's think of ourselves as children, right? Some of us learn through putting our hand into the flame. And when we do what we learn, don't put your hand in the flame again. That's karma. That's Saturn, right? That's karma dharma. That's lessons. So the thing here is about forgiving the lessons as they were, because they were planetary teachers gifting us an opportunity to learn. Now, I know people will disagree with me, but let's zoom out. Let's go into the original orchestration. The original orchestration is, yes, some of the teachings were tough. Some of the teachings were difficult. Some of these things were really disgusting. I'm not okaying these things for occurring. But us as a society, to get out of this looping warrior wound or the looping angelic wound, is to forgive what occurred and keep moving forward. Once again, the spinal column connecting all the way back to source gives us an opportunity to restore our original light body. Here's another thing, the caduceus. So the caduceus in the medical system, looping fear, looping pain, looping wounds, never actually healing. Sometimes it's degradation of light body. It's bringing in, synthetic chemicals and things that don't actually offer the opportunity for the proper light body to tune and to pass through its portal systems, its gateways, to really experience eternity here on planet Earth. And so when we are restoring that same caduceus back into our life paths, we're no longer in the medical loop. By the way, I don't want to, when it comes to the medical loop, we can choose to be grateful for what the medical systems provide, because they still provide a lot for us on planet Earth. I don't want to take away from that, but I want to take back into account here is in where we believe at some level that we can't heal, which limits us or suppresses us in our journey, okay? And it's a systemic power play that's still going through an evolution. The original caduceus gives us an opportunity to heal through Kundal fire, through masculine and feminine joining, back with our own inner union and activation of wings. Our light body can heal itself. Archangel Raphael, right? So the thing here is that Saturn and Pluto placements very much so are asking to be forgiven through Chiron, because they were there to create the karmic dharmic structure of learning so we could free our angelic race, so we could free the angelic species here on planet Earth, which means, yes, we are all angels. We are all higher angelic species here on planet Earth, and we're learning to live our experience. So yes, some of us have connections still, right, to other races that wouldn't be seen as angelic. And that's part of our karma dharma, to learn how to work with that polarity and to find balance through that. We're the ones that are liberating that experience internally through our choices, through our words, through our actions, through our deeds, all of that. Kindness goes a long way in this journey, okay? The thing here is we'll see the same thing, right? Like with Archangel Michael, we'll see the same thing through the Syrians, right? It's like we have those Syrian galactic oversoul, higher self Syrian aspects that can be very power on and military. But then there's this higher form of Sirius that's bringing in dolphins and whales and mermaids, right? Once again, all healings and teachings stemming back from that original lower Mars war wound to go, are we going to keep playing in this? This stuff has to do a lot with Stargate systems here on planet Earth, in which that system had some kind of experience that occurred, and we're continuing to play out whatever that holographic imprint is, and that's what's clearing here and now, okay? So Chiron today is asking us to kind of forgive Saturn and Pluto and its placement in the greater reality. So the greater angelic kingdom can come all the way through and recognize its part to play here on planet Earth. The thing is that there are still opinions, projections, reversals, key codes, weird things that we're still all learning how to clear and heal. That's our karma dharma. That's Saturn. That's destiny. But a part of this too is remembering that when we get to go, yeah, okay, Saturn and Pluto, right? Two kind of one is in which I know in those two placements, it's where I've lost everything in the past. Like, that was important so I could find myself again, right? Because once again, if everything is just handed to you, right? Everything's just handed to you, like, here you go. Are you going to learn? Especially if you're learning to get it back. Shamanic soul retrieval, the work with other people, activating, cleansing. Like, there's so much within this. So once again, when it comes to stabilizing what our learning is, the forgiveness of Saturn, okay, the forgiveness of Saturn and Pluto is really, really important, especially as an angelic species. But we also have to remember that a part of that learning is undoing the cycle. So if you are here healing karma, you're going to take action steps towards undoing that cycle. Meaning that the things that you align with that are a part of your integrity is, we're going to undo this, we're going to unravel this. And sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it is like walking through the mucky muck. Sometimes it is like, treading water some days of the week, but we're going to get there. Either way is right now, there is a very big Mars and Chiron influence that's saying, let's go to higher form of Mars. Okay, so yeah, Mars freedom and liberation is occurring. The masculine is getting cleared. There's a lot of tyranny getting cleared. There's a lot of stuff that's getting liberated from our planet, right? So those structures, once again, the spear seen as something that we throw at a shadow, right, is also the thing that aligns our column back to source. So do we see there's this lower form of working with these energetics to see that some things can disconnect us and some things can connect us. Choice point. Those are the schisms that have occurred that are a part of the separation game that we can dismantle here on planet Earth very simply, very easily. 1111 just came through. So right now, Chiron is saying work with what the higher form of masculine Mars is as the guardian and as the brother, the one that's there for people, right? You can be empowered in your power and be there for people. You can stand up for yourself and for others, right? A lot of this is activating your authenticity. When I see higher form of Mars, I see the guardian. So this is the guardian of your life path, the one who chooses things from integrity and gives you the opportunity to really live the best and most fulfilling life. The gift of being able to take action on things, power, confidence, right? So gift yourself an opportunity today to remember your higher form of Mars, so we don't continue to lower this experience of Mars that plays out as the others do what they do. Everything's an initiation right now, so you can initiate your higher trajectory with Mars that's coming through with a lot of this freedom and liberation. And once again, a lot of this is us being able to say, you know what, thank you to the learning of Saturn and Pluto through our angelic, our archangelic realms, our seraphim realms, and everything, right? That was the opportunity to work through polarity. If I woke up light and night, that was me working through night polarity. But when we start making those choices, that night polarity starts to go to light. But it doesn't always mean it's overnight. It doesn't always mean it's overnight. I too have had to work night side for so long to get to, and it's not done with. The shadow work is going to keep going. But right now, what we're doing is let's go ahead and clear all of this kind of older angelic mystery that keeps this perspective of fall alive and actually rise up. Once again, initiations right now are gifting us the opportunity to activate the higher potentiality, and the higher potentiality is here for you. You can ground it out and you can actually play it out in your reality. It can actually occur for you. So these light body things are not just esoteric, etheric things. These are things that can stabilize in the form and help your body to manifest new outcomes, new desires, new journeys, new learning, and new experiences. When we start to very much so forgive what Saturn and Pluto were, we're going to find a lot more happiness. But when it shows up, we activate its ascension. We activate the father code. We activate the principality of discipline, the ability to create here on planet Earth, the ability to create boundaries, right? The ability to become the phoenix rising from the ashes. And so this is us saying, hey, grab yourself from the underworld, pull yourself back up to that higher level of freedom, that higher form of liberation, because right now you can fly. It is possible. You just got to choose it.